Yes. Okay. So, a very good morning to all of you. I'm Madhulika, and I welcome you all to yet another Zoom webinar organized by Jungle Bells. So, I would like to brief you all about Jungle Bells. Jungle Bells is a Pune-based venture exclusively designed for women and started by women Himangi Vartak and Aarti Karve. We conduct women-only trips to all the wildlife destinations across India. Also, we conduct nature-based tours in and around Pune. So the main purpose of our venture is to promote wildlife tourism and wildlife conservation. So this is all about Jungle Bells. And before we begin, I would request all of you to please switch off your cameras and turn off your microphones so that we can get a good experience of today's webinar. We have a very special guest with us today, Dr. Ankur Patwardhan. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. So today's topic is the colorful world of butterflies. And I would like to brief his profile. So Dr. Ankur Patwardhan, he's currently heading Anna Sahib Anna Sahib Kulkarni Department of Biodiversity at MES Abba Sahib Garware College and Savitri Phule Pune University. Looking at his wonderful journey, Dr. Ankur Patwardhan is an associate professor and entrepreneur. He holds a doctorate in environmental sciences. His main activities focus on recovery, including ex-situ and bioprospecting of threatened plant taxa from Western Ghats of India, one of the 34 global biodiversity hotspots. He undertakes ecological surveys and drafts biodiversity management plans that is essential for environmental impact assessment, that is EIA, and sustainability audit for various industrial establishments and developmental projects. So this is all about his wonderful journey. And without further ado, let's get started. I request Hemagi ma'am to take the conversation ahead with Ankur sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very good morning. We are extremely privileged to have you on our platform. And it's a little daunting because this is the first time, we are having a person who is of such a high cadre and thorough in his work plus highly intellectual. So I've never, really dealt with someone who's so at par. So it is slightly daunting, but I'm sure we will go ahead in a much easier manner. So basically, welcome to our platform. We'll just start with the very basic question that everyone would like to know, that how would you describe your environmental journey? How did you get into this? So what is the kind of your background which brought you here?
Okay. Basically, I was a very lazy student in my school days, and I was not at all studious. I used to roam a lot. I used to like to roam a lot, and but I was fortunate enough that near where I used to stay, we have a small hill known as Tarzai Hill and grassland. And when I was in school, one of my best pastime was to visit the grasslands, and we all must have seen there are small yellow color butterflies that used to fly along the ground. So I used to uproot certain bushes and just run behind the butterflies. So that's how I started developing keen interest in observation. And but basically, I'm a plant biologist, but working on plant animal interactions as well. Yeah.
Okay. So we all know that butterflies is, for our eyesight per se or watching, they're so beautiful, but they're equally, very, very, आपण जे म्हणतो की स्थिरावत नाही, they are continuously moving. So for me, when I'm taking out my camera as a hobby, it's very difficult to actually, photograph a butterfly. That's what my experience. So I have a lot of very less butterfly photos, unless and until, they're there for a long time, sitting on a, plant or down on the road, tar road. So this is a very fascinating thing. I mean, people love to watch it for pleasure, but let us understand the various aspects of it, because we really don't know what really, how their life cycle is, or etc. things. So how, like you've explained right now, how do you connect to butterflies? Do you have a kind of bonding, or how do you go about you know I don't know, talking to them? I don't know how, like what we say.
Okay. No, actually, it's an interesting question. How you connect with the butterflies? I used to watch, as you just said, everybody watches butterflies and gets fascinated by its wing patterns and colors, etc. So I
Yes.
used to observe them, and one question that was in my mind right from my school days was how a butterfly decides which flower he or she is going to visit.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Are their visits random visits, or are they guided by some biological or any other cues or clues, what you can say? So that was the
Correct.
question I had in mind in since my school days. And when I started researching more into the field, I tried finding answers to my questions as well. So yeah, and I have means we'll speak later on, but I have developed a butterfly garden on my terrace, and
Yes.
we you said how you get connect. So I actually experienced the little waves created by the wings of the butterflies also. So
Okay. It's interesting. Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting. So, how would you, what is the role of butterflies in the ecosystem? If we have to start with a very basic
yeah.
question.
Okay. So primarily, we all know that they are one of the best indicators of changing environment, and
Yes.
this has grown of recently because of the research changes in the climate and other aspects as well. But
Right.
apart from that, one relatively unknown role, or I'll say underexplored role they play in the ecosystem is in terms of pollination. When we
Right.
say it's a pollination, then the honeybees are the most uh, prominent pollinators. But butterflies and moths are next to honeybees as pollinators. So their role in pollination is very, very significant. And there are certain plants which are specifically pollinated by butterflies or moths. They are not pollinated
Okay.
by honeybees. So for them,
Okay.
butterflies are extremely important. It's tight one-to-one correlation kind of a thing. And number one,
Okay.
and number two, we know that there are various stages of butterflies, and there is a
Right.
larvae or caterpillar stage.
Right.
So during that stage, these larvae are excellent protein source or food source, we can say.
Right.
And
Right.
especially in our Western Ghats and our part, we get butterfly peak, population peak in the rainy season, which also coincides with breeding period of many small birds like warblers, tailor bird, and other birds also. So
Right.
these birds actually feed on the butterfly larvae, and it's
Oh,
extremely essential for them as well, as because they act as a food source. So
okay.
it's not only important from pollination point of view, they are
Right.
also important to maintain the ecosystem balance as such,
Yeah, correct,
the
correct. So that,
maintaining the food chains in the ecosystem. Yeah.
right. So this is so very important that first time we've come to know that they play such a crucial part in the, balancing out the ecosystem per se. Yeah. So, a very this is a question that came to me also. So, what do butterflies eat? So we all know that they, so, but what is the food of
Yeah.
butterflies, if you have to say?
Yeah. Actually, butterflies they like a diversified diet. So
Okay.
here, by diet I mean their mouth part, the proboscis we call. The mouth parts
Right.
are designed in a such a way that butterflies take only liquid diet. They don't take
Oh,
any particulate diet. They take
okay.
only liquid diet. And
Okay.
there is a little bit of categorization, you can say. Majority of the butterflies that we see around, they are nectar feeders. That means they visit
Right.
different flowers
Right.
to feed on the nectar. And but there are certain butterflies which like fruits, the ripe fruits. So fruit feeders are there. There are certain
Right.
butterflies which we feed on dead carcasses of animals, or even they sit on the scats of the animals. So
Okay.
majority of them, they are nectar feeders. And
Okay.
this is very essential for them, because apart from sugar, basically why they
Right.
feed on nectar is to get the
They get
energy
the
for the
show.
flight or the
Right.
reproduction. Yeah, they sugar.
Right.
But apart from sugar, the nectar also provides many other chemicals like essential oils, and nectar also has certain amino acids. And these amino acids, they are extremely crucial for their reproduction.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
when you mentioned the caracas, they feed sometimes on that also. So what is at that point of time? What are they feeding on when they are on a caracas?
I know. Basically, they take the different salt material. Okay.
Salt
So many
materials.
times,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. But as I said, they only take liquid diet. So whatever juices are present
Juice.
in this, they feed on that. But they don't take any particulate diet.
Okay. Okay. That's nice. What would you say as describe as a lifespan of a butterfly? If you can just explain us in brief.
Yeah. Actually, it varies from species to species. In
Yeah.
especially butterflies, what we popularly call as blues, or the butterflies belonging to Lichenidae family, they are very small in nature, and
Right.
the lifespan is around, say, 2 to 3 weeks. The adult butterfly lifespan, but
Right.
in some other large butterflies, swallowtails, and other nymphalidae butterflies, it may extend to 2 to 3 months. Uh, Actually,
Okay.
it is a very interesting question you asked. Currently, my team is researching on the lifespan of the butterflies when the food is also abundant and there is less predation pressure. So, if food is
Okay.
abundant and there is less predation pressure, then what could be the maximum lifespan? So we are currently doing research on that.
Okay. Okay. That's nice.
Yeah, but
So,
by and large butterflies, they live for the adult butterflies live for 2 to 3 months, you can say.
3 months. Okay. So, we see a lot of colorful butterflies in and around. They are very, but they're prominent to, suppose you say, Western Ghats, or in the other parts of the country, they might have different colors and this thing. So, how is this color scheme based on? So, in the sense, if you find a blue, what we say, one here, so in another part of the country, they might be different colored. So, is they color specific to parts of the country, or they are overall
No,
this
no,
thing?
no,
No.
they are not that color specific. Basically, the color of the butterflies is because of the scales that are present on their wings. So, if you remember,
Okay.
if you catch a butterfly, then even your fingers
Right.
will give some color. So,
Yes.
and even if the color is removed from the wings of the butterflies, the butterfly remains very healthy. It's not that they get damaged. Okay, so
Okay.
even if the wing is broken or damaged, then only it will harm butterflies. But if you hold a butterfly and if you get color to your fingers, then it's not necessarily it will get damaged. The
Okay.
color we usually we see is because of the reflection of the light. Okay,
Oh,
that's why you see different colors, say especially in great egg fly or Danite egg fly, if you look at these butterflies from a particular angle, you will see a glistening blue color patch
Right.
around their white patch. But if you are looking from a different angle, yeah, you absolutely don't see that blue color patch. So the coloration is primarily because of the scales present and the pigments that get reflected because of the falling of light.
Okay. Okay.
Hemangi, just a minute. Here, I
Yes.
have
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
very personal question. Like Ankur sir
Okay.
Yeah,
said, I have also spent my childhood running behind the butterflies, and I'm sure most kids in the Pune, when I say they miss this fun. Though I'm sorry to say, I have hurt many butterflies in doing that process, and but I was unaware about those things that age. Uh, you said, and I have also experienced it, that the color when you catch a butterfly in your finger, the color gets attached to your finger. The color dye. It's like a dye you are touching. This question was haunting to me for so many years. How it is possible when no other animal or bird's color, you when you touch him, it touches to your finger, it sticks to your finger, and why only with butterflies it happens? Means what is the reason by nature in doing that? That was my question, because uh, and correct me, because in
yeah,
my knowledge, even you catch a snake or whatever colorful animal or bird or a reptile you catch, it color never sticks to your fingers. It's
yeah.
only with butterflies happen.
Yeah. So
Why?
actually, if you look at the scales of a butterfly under the microscope or even with a macro lens, then you will see different layers one above the other. Okay,
Okay.
and that's what actually get attached to your fingertips. So it's
Yeah.
one scale getting attached to your fingertips, and along with that, the pigments are there on the scales. Okay,
Okay.
and that's where you get the reflection. So once the scales get removed. Okay,
Okay.
what you get to fingertips is small scales are there, and that's how you also see colors on your fingertip. But look under the microscope or with a very fine macro lens, you will see a different layered structure. It's a wonderful one
What
above the other. Yeah,
it's said that in nature nothing happens without reason.
yeah.
Why it's only with butterflies wings this happens? What is the reason? What is the advantage to them to survival process and all those things?
No,
To shade
actually,
their color.
yeah. No, actually, they don't shade their color naturally. It's only when
Yeah,
you are
obviously.
touching it or like
Correct.
that. So,
Yeah.
for if you look at color differentiation or marking differentiation in butterflies, there is difference between a wet season form and dry season form. The dry season form looks totally different than the wet season form. The markings are different. The coloration or the patterns are different. So, it's only when the external body touches to it, it
Correct.
gets damaged.
Yes.
Otherwise, they are there, and the people are also doing very interesting research. For example, you will be surprised, but now people are trying to see to change genetically the patterns on the wings, and whether if the pattern is changed or if the butterfly is externally colored with a artificial color, does it affect the mating success of the species? So people are doing excellent research on many interesting themes.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emma, you continue, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So, another question of mine only. I don't think I had discussed with you earlier, but these butterflies keep on, as I said, kite eka hechavar, they are not there for a long time, in one place. Is there any other reason for this, or they're just, very, very fluttery everywhere?
Yeah. But let me tell you, there is a definite pattern in their fluttering. Okay.
Okay.
Showed us the activity of butterflies is correlated with the amount of nectar produced in a particular flower. Okay,
Oh,
and you see nice temporal variation in nectar production. So I'll
okay.
explain in a moment. So suppose
Okay.
you are measuring a nectar quantity, say early morning when the flower is opening, say around 6 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. And suppose
Right.
you are measuring the nectar quantity, say every at 1 hour interval, then you will
Right.
see a pattern in the nectar production. So
Okay.
it will peak at a different species will peak at different time, and then maybe by 9 p.m. or 12 p.m. they will peak, and then they will show a slight decrease in the
Hmm.
nectar amount of nectar produced. So
Right.
we usually say that the butterfly are more active in the early morning hours. So
Right.
what we found is that they have specific pattern that is correlated with the amount of nectar produced, and that's why
Right.
they keep on fluttering a lot. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, it's not only important that is the total amount of nectar produced, but in an inflorescence. So when you get a bunch of flowers, there are many
Hmm.
flowers that don't produce nectar. Okay,
Okay.
but
Okay.
they still get benefited by the visit of the butterfly or a pollinator. But
Yeah.
there is no way butterfly knows whether the corolla tube is full with the nectar or
Right or not.
is not
Yeah.
without the nectar. So unless and until it probes the corolla tube with the proboscis, it's not going to
Correct.
come to know whether it contains nectar or not. And in that case,
Right.
then it's like trial and error method. It's probing one flower. Then if it's nectar, then it will spend some time. If there is no nectar, then it will probe another flower. And that's why you will
Right.
see many butterflies fluttering from flower to flower in the process.
Correct. Correct. Thank you so much for the clarification. Also, I wanted to ask you, you have a lovely garden, okay, which you've developed. We'll be soon
Yeah.
seeing that. But before that, I wanted to ask you that when at my recent visit at Tadoba, they have a butterfly garden which they have made on the other side of this thing. So there was. So while making these kind of gardens, suppose Mumbai, they have a butterfly garden. I'm sure Pune has. So do they plant a specific of trees to attract or plants to attract these kind of butterflies? So how do they make that butterfly, make it as a centric butterfly this thing activity?
Okay. See, basically, one thing one needs to understand is we need to create a conducive habitat for the butterflies.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And when we say it's a conducive habitat, then means there should be food production throughout the year. That means you should maintain the seasonality of flowering throughout the year so that butterflies get food through the entire yearly span. Number one. Number
Right.
two, butterflies are very host specific. The meaning adult butterflies they can visit many flowers for nectar, but adult butterflies they are very choosy when it comes to lay their eggs upon. Okay, so they
Okay.
need particular specific plants to lay their eggs. So while designing butterfly garden, you need an assemblage of larval host plants. That means plants on which butterfly lay their eggs, and
Right.
also the nectar or food plants. Okay, so
Correct.
where the seasonality is maintained. So
Right.
that is one thing. The why one need butterfly garden is, as I said, they play a crucial role in the environment. Apart
Right.
from that, whatever butterflies you see around,
Mm-hmm.
usually they are hardly uh, uh, around 10 to 12% of butterflies what we see around. Rest
Okay.
of the butterflies, the larvae get predated upon by spiders or they get
Mm.
infected by different parasitoid wasps or something like that. Many birds feed on butterflies, adult butterflies. So
Right.
in entire process, you imagine if a butterfly is laying 100 eggs, then only 10 to 12 will complete the entire process and reach the adulthood. So whatever
Right.
the predation or the dangers they face through the entire life cycle, we hardly
Mm-hmm.
see hardly 8 to 10% butterflies around. So whatever flying around is
Correct.
us is hardly 8 to 10%. And just to promote
Correct.
that, one needs butterfly garden. Whether it's in
Correct.
the cities or in places like Tadoba is not an issue.
Right. Right. Yeah. About urban threats, okay, to butterflies. Are there any
Yeah.
prominent right now? And would you like to highlight what are the threats overall?
Urbanization is one of the biggest threats because The problem I have seen over a period of time is it's not only habitat loss, but more or equally important is habitat conversion. So what I mean here, I have seen many groups, companies through their CSR activities or whatever it may be. I stay in Pune, where which is surrounded by many hills, and many such groups uh, they they are doing plantation drives randomly on the hills. No doubt they are planting indigenous trees, which is important, but that doesn't mean that you have to convert the open lands, scrublands, and grassland into woodlands. Okay. Butterflies, they prefer scrub forests, they prefer open areas than the canopied areas. Canopied areas, butterflies are very specific. So that is one of the biggest threat. You should not go randomly planting any tree in and just convert the habitat. So that is the one of the biggest threat in the which I perceive. Another key thing, what has changed over a period of time is when it comes to agricultural landscape, the farmers are spraying insecticides and pesticides, and that is actually hampering adult butterflies a lot. Okay. That also hampers the feeding of the butterfly larvae, and because of the increased climate change, the flower remains open for less time. Okay. And that also affects the butterfly visitation to a particular flower. So these are the some of the common threats, you can say. Now I'll also go on the terrace. Just give me a minute. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Okay. So can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can see.
So this is where I developed my butterfly garden on my terrace. I have planted some very specific trees and wild species. It's not only a vegetable garden, but many endemic species have been I have purposely inducted on my terrace garden, and I can see if you keep a systematic record, then around 50 odd species visit my terrace during different periods of the year.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So this is how a terrace has been converted. So this is this is COVID impact, you can say.
Yes.
When I was stationed at one place, I decided to convert my terrace into a garden, butterfly garden.
That's so
yeah.
wonderful.
So there is one
Yeah.
section also over there where I conduct my pollination experiments with butterflies and the color preference by butterfly experiments. So they do have specific preferences towards specific colors. Different species have specific preferences, and such research helps in knowing which plants one should induct in their terrace or in the butterfly garden.
Right.
Hemangi, here
Lovely. Yes.
I have got one question for sir
Sure.
again.
Yeah.
And Ankur sir, this is a question as a builder,
Yeah.
because most of the damage in Pune city's butterflies have been done by builders, I'm sure. And I said, I always say, it's not about just builders. It's about the residents of that society who are unaware about these things. See, in all those buildings, most of the time blame goes to builder or real estate. I'm not defending because I'm one, because I am also an environment engineer also. So unfortunately, builder is a trader. He gives whatever is demanded. try to understand. And this question is very important for entire biodiversity in Pune, and specifically for butterflies life, because I miss them a lot. As I said, I miss seeing butterflies around. I miss seeing तेरड्या. ते तेरड्याचे झाडं असायचे लहानपणी रस्त्याच्या कडेला, झेंडूचे झाडं असायचे आणि त्याच्यावर ते खूप यायचे. आणि
खूप
आता
यायचे.
अनफॉर्च्युनेटली ते नाही आहे. पण आता मी नेहमी आमच्या सॉरी फॉर स्विचिंग ओव्हर टू मराठी, बिकॉज later on this video will be distributed. I will be distributing it into my flat holders also. बिकॉज सी, एकदा का बिल्डरनी जे काय आहे ते देऊन टाकलं तर लोक सुद्धा माहिती नसल्यामुळे त्याच्यावर एफर्ट घेत नाही. बिल्डर इज अ ट्रेडर. Again, I am not defending builder fraternity. Builder is a trader, so he will give marble flooring and all that designer tile and interior and that kind of stuff. But as nobody is having importance and nobody is demanding importance of butterflies like species, he won't think about it, because most of the builders are themselves non-technical. Okay, and now the question I am putting is keeping in mind, तुमचं घर एकदा झाल्यानंतर तुम्ही जेव्हा बिल्डरनी ताबा दिलेला आहे तेव्हा त्यानंतर ठीक आहे, बिल्डरनी बटरफ्लाय साठी काही केलं नाही, पण तुम्हाला जर बटरफ्लाय साठी काही करायचं असेल, ऑब्व्हियसली सोसायटीचा टेरेस हा कॉमन टेरेस आहे. त्याच्यावर जरुरी नाही की प्रत्येक वेळेस सोसायटी परमिशन देईल सगळ्यांना. परत टॉप फ्लोअरचा माणूस म्हणेल माझं घर गळेल, तुम्ही वरती काहीतरी केलं असं तर ते इश्यूज असतात. तर इफ पीपल आर लिव्हिंग इन सोसायटी अँड दे वॉन्ट बटरफ्लाईज टू कम इन देअर कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑर प्रिमाइस, व्हॉट दे शुड डू? One thing. Another aspect, another question, again as a person I am asking, की एखादा आता सिटी मधला एरिया आहे जो ऑलरेडी डेव्हलप झालाय आणि आजूबाजूला बटरफ्लाय दिसत नाहीये. ओके, तर मी तिथे काही बटरफ्लाय साठीचं प्लांटेशन किंवा फ्लॉरिंग केल्यानंतर किंवा तुम्ही जे सांगाल त्यानंतर तर येतील कुठनं ते? आजूबाजूच्या 1 किलोमीटर मध्ये जर बटरफ्लाय नसतील तर एवढ्या लांबून ते कशी, म्हणजे हाऊ दे विल नो की दिस हॅबिटॅट हॅज बीन क्रिएटेड फॉर देम?
Okay, so basically two things. As a builder, I answer the first question first. Okay, काही गोष्टी आपल्याला या ठामपणे त्यांना सांगायला लागतील की आम्ही या काही कॉमन स्पेसेस मध्ये ही झाडं मुद्दामून इकॉलॉजीला फेवरेबल अशी इंडक्ट करतोय. ओके, तिथे ऍस्थेटिक सेन्स आणि आपल्याला जी काही झाडं हवी आहेत बटरफ्लायसाठी त्याचा मेळ मुद्दामून घालायला लागेल. आणि तो त्यांना, म्हणजे मला बरेचदा काय जाणवलं लोकांशी बोलताना की त्यांना एक्सपिरियन्स नसतो. म्हणजे त्यांची मागणी का नाहीये, कारण त्यांनी एक्सपिरियन्स घेतला नाहीये, म्हणून बरेचदा त्यांना एखादी गोष्ट चांगली कशी असेल हे माहितीच नसतं, म्हणून ते मागणी पण नाही करत. आणि आपण त्यांना जर का तो एक्सपिरियन्स द्यायचा प्रयत्न केला तर कदाचित हे चेन रिॲक्शन सारखं प्रोपोगेट होतं. म्हणजे जसं पूर्वी टेरेस गार्डनिंग हा कमी प्रमाणात होतं. आता जिकडे तिकडे बघावं तिथे आयदर व्हेजिटेबल गार्डनिंग करताय टेरेसवरती वगैरे. हे जसं प्रॉलिफरेट झालं तसंच बटरफ्लाय गार्डनही हळूहळू व्हायला लागले. माझ्याच माहितीत मी बटरफ्लाय गार्डन केल्यानंतर एक 50-60 लोकांनी बटरफ्लाय गार्डन त्यांच्या टेरेसवरती सुरू केलंय. सो हे लोकांना सांगायला लागेल. दुसरी गोष्ट की भर गर्दीत ते येतात का किंवा तर माय एक्सपिरियन्स इज it's no matter whether you stay in any cramped place or in the center of the city, if you plant proper particular species, they do visit. आता त्यांना, म्हणजे मी पुण्यात गुरुवार पेठेतल्या मंडईकडनं पलीकडे जो जाणारा रस्ता आहे तिथे आजूबाजूला काही हिरवाई नसताना 3ऱ्या-4थ्या मजल्यावरती बटरफ्लाय आलेली बघितलेली आहेत. आणि हे केवळ तिथे लावलेल्या होस्ट प्लांट्समुळे किंवा काही नेक्टर प्लांट्समुळे शक्य झालेलं होतं. सो ते जमू शकतं. बेसिकली बटरफ्लाईज डू से व्हाय दे कम टू अ पर्टिक्युलर प्लांट इज, ॲज आय सेड, दॅट they get attracted to particular species by olfactory cues. That means the sensory things. They get attracted to certain chemicals, essential oils and all that. And they also get attracted because of certain specific colors. So जेव्हा आपण म्हणतो की सकाळच्या वेळामध्ये किंवा उन्हात जरा थोडीशी ऍक्टिव्हिटी चांगली असते, सो हे काम असं होतं, तर जेव्हा सनलाईट येतो तेव्हा पेटल्स मध्ये किंवा नेक्टर मध्ये असलेले इसेन्शियल ऑइल्स हे आजूबाजूला पसरतात. सो ऍज द टर्म इंडिकेट्स, इसेन्शियल ऑइल्स म्हणजे आपण जसं परफ्यूम लावतो आणि कार्यक्रमाला जातो तसंच हे फुलांसाठी मधले परफ्युम्स आहेत. हे आजूबाजूला जेव्हा पसरतात तेव्हा सनलाईटमुळे वातावरण वॉर्म झालं की हे जवळ फुलाच्या जवळच्या हवेमध्ये इकडे तिकडे जातात आणि मग बटरफ्लाईजला ते सेन्स करता येतात. त्यामुळे त्यांना कळतं. ओनली द थिंग इज जेव्हा ते अट्रॅक्ट होतील तेव्हा आपलं हॅबिटेट तयार पाहिजे. जर हॅबिटेट तयार असेल तर ते येतात, व्हिजिट करतात, अंडी सुद्धा घालतात. हे मी स्वतः अनुभवलेलं आहे.
Wonderful. Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Hemang, you continue, please.
Yeah. There is one question by Rekha Deshmukh. She's asking, can you please tell us about butterfly migration?
Mar. Okay. Just give me a minute.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. About migration, we do get local migration in Western Ghats. That means butterflies from say Goa region. Sometimes they do visit high altitude regions like Western Ghats, say Dajipur or like that. I have seen such migration personally, and
Okay.
this gregarious migration is primarily seen in milkweed butterflies. That means in our area, we have common crow, plain tiger, blue tigers, striped tiger, etc. And in other countries, we have the best famous example is of monarch butterflies.
Right.
And people are still working on their routes and which path they take while migration and how much time they spend at a particular locality. But it has been the initial studies have recorded that the migration is because of the food, so availability for the food source, the lack of conducive habitat in their original place, and also the moisture gradient. So these are the things that are responsible for migration.
Okay. Thank you. So there are 1 minute. Yeah. So I think there are not much questions in the chat box now. There's one more question. Yeah. Children, I don't know, the name is not there, but they're asking children like butterflies. So what can we take? Okay, how can we take care from the children point of view? I don't know the elaboration.
No,
So for
yeah,
children, even I know.
no,
So if you
if
can
they could elaborate a bit, it will be
yeah.
easier. Yeah,
Can you unmute and ask what you want to ask? Whoever has asked the question, I'm unable to know the. So till that time, we'll go to the next one. What is the difference between moth and butterflies?
हेमांगी,
I
एक
think
मिनिट.
Sanjay. Yeah, sure.
तो क्वेश्चन असा आहे जे मला लक्षात आलं की मुलांना बटरफ्लाईज खूप आवडतात, पण मुलांपासून त्यांची काळजी घ्यायची किंवा मुलांना त्यांच्यापासून काही हार्म होऊ नये याच्यासाठी काही आहे का? टू माय नॉलेज बटरफ्लाय कांट हार्म एनी चिल्ड्रन, बट मे बी त्यांच्या डोक्यात त्यांना ते इन्फेक्शन किंवा असं काहीतरी डोक्यात असेल, आय प्रिझ्युम सो.
करेक्ट.
नाही, बटरफ्लाईज कडनं काही हार्म नाही होत.
एक्झॅक्टली, म्हणजे देयर इज नो हार्म.
Even probably children accidentally may come across larvae, but butterfly larvae, they are not like moth larvae. So most of the butterflies they don't have hairy larvae. So the children like moth, ज्याला आपण सुरवंट म्हणतो, आणि कधी कधी सुरवंट हात लागला की आपल्याला इचिंग झाल्यासारखं होतं. तसं बटरफ्लाईजमुळे होत नाही, सहसा होत नाही, कारण त्यांना हेअर्स नसतात. काही काही बटरफ्लाईजच्या लार्वीना असतात, बट दे आर नॉट दॅट ट्रबलसम लाईक मॉथ्स. त्यामुळे बटरफ्लाय लार्वीमुळे होत नाही. फक्त बरेचदा मला असं लक्षात आलंय की जी कॉमन प्लांट्स आहेत, कढीपत्ता वगैरे किंवा लिंबू, त्याच्यावरती आपल्याला लार्वी दिसतात. आणि बऱ्याच एस्पेशली गार्डनिंग मध्ये मी बघितलंय की आजकाल महिला जास्ती ऍक्टिव्ह आहेत टेरेस गार्डनिंग किंवा इव्हन बाल्कनीमध्ये वगैरे. आणि
Correct,
मग ते
correct.
अशा कडीपत्त्याच्या झाडावरती किंवा लिंबाच्या झाडावरती आळ्या बघितल्या की त्यांना वाटतं कीड लागली म्हणून ते काढून टाकतात. बट
Arr.
ऍक्च्युअली ते बटरफ्लाय लार्वी आहे. ते इट्स नॉट अ
Oh,
इन्फेक्शन.
Oh,
ओके.
okay, okay.
okay. Oh, good point. Yeah.
My next question was exactly on that, about difference between moths and butterfly. Like, because even I am unable to identify many times. It looks very wonderful, but it's not a. When I put post, then somebody says it's not a butterfly. So
Yeah.
how you differentiate between moth and butterfly?
Okay. So there could be many biological differences, but I'll highlight very few of them, which are very prominent, you can say. So basic difference between a butterfly and a moth is butterflies, they are diurnal. That means they are active primarily during the daytime, whereas moths, they are primarily active during the night time. That's why we call them nocturnal. And that's why
Okay.
you will see many moths when you light a lamp in a jungle or like that, they get attracted to the light.
Hmm.
Okay,
Right.
light trap, what
Right.
we call. So that is one basic difference. No doubt there are certain exceptions, like there is a diurnal moth. That means it flies during during the day. It's more active during the day. But usually butterflies, they are diurnal and moths are nocturnal. Number one. Uh, during Except during the process of basking. Basking means butterflies, they open their wings to warm their wings in the early sunshine. Okay. But apart from that, most of the times butterflies sit with their wings closed, as against moths. So moths, they sit on the particular flower or even on the leaves with their wings open. So that is second difference. The third most important, one of the most important difference is their antennae. So moths have brush-like or hair-like antennae, whereas butterflies, they lack brush or hairs. They have a
Oh,
knob-shaped antennae or like that. So
okay.
these are the basic differences between a butterfly and a moth. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
in some moths, the proboscis is really very very long. Especially moths, they pollinate some orchids, and the orchids have a long spur where the nectar is situated. Almost uh, you can say 7 to 8 centimeter long spur is there, and they are which are pollinated by long-tongued moths. Butterflies don't have that long proboscis. They do
Okay.
have up to 4 or 5 centimeter in some Hesperidae family, but they don't have very long proboscis like moth in some species. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. We have Nitin Kakodkar, sir, and he asks us, can you list
Yeah.
out some larval host plant and some nectar plants?
Okay. Okay.
Ankur, you must be knowing Nitin Kakodkar, sir.
हो, मी आता तेच म्हणणार होतो की काकोडकर सरांना खूप दिवसांनी भेटून खूप आनंद झाला.
And Nitin, it's an honor to have you on this forum. And
Yes. Right.
rather, to all the listeners who will be later on also watching on YouTube, Nitin Kakodkar sir is our ex PCCF, Principal Chief Conservator of Maharashtra State, who used to head entire Maharashtra Forest Department. But being IFS and being PCCF is not only his identity. He is one of the most studied officer. But rather, he is academic in wildlife, and not only from Maharashtra, but entire India's many wildlife forest officer respects him and takes his guidance. And still, he is asking questions on this forum. Shows the way he is. Means he himself is an encyclopedia on wildlife actually, and he still has got questions about butterfly. That shows the importance of butterfly. Thank you, Nitinda, for this.
Yes.
थँक्यू. काकोडकर सर, छान वाटलं तुमचं तुम्हाला भेटून, म्हणजे व्हर्च्युअली का होईना पण भेटून छान वाटलं. कमिंग बॅक टू युअर क्वेश्चन, की काय आपल्याला होस्ट प्लांट्स किंवा नेक्टर प्लांट्स बघता येतील, तर मला असं वाटतंय की आपण इकॉलॉजिकल ग्रुप म्हणून त्याचा विचार केला रादर दॅन इंडिव्हिज्युअल स्पीशीज, तर जास्ती फायदा होऊ शकतो. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, जे पॅन्झी चा सगळा ग्रुप आहे बटरफ्लाईचा, मग लेमन पॅन्झी आहे, येलो पॅन्झी आहे, ब्लू पॅन्झी आहे, ग्रे पॅन्झी आहे, हे जे सगळ्या बटरफ्लाईज आहेत ते आपल्या कोरांटी म्हणा किंवा आपलं कारवी वगैरे यासारख्या ज्या वनस्पती आहेत त्याच्यावरती अंडी घालतात. किंवा आपले मिल्कवीड बटरफ्लाईज आहेत, ज्याला झाडाच्या पानांना पांढरा चीक येतो, रुई सारख्या वनस्पती आहेत, किंवा हळदी कुंकू वगैरे आहे, त्याच्यावरती सगळे आपले कॉमन क्रो, टायगर वगैरे असे सगळे अंडी घालतात. सो अशा आणि जसं मगाशी मी म्हणलं त्याप्रमाणे आपलं कागदी लिंबू किंवा कढीपत्ता वगैरे. सो अशा वेगवेगळे जर का आपण इकॉलॉजिकल ग्रुप्स ट्राय केले तर जास्ती आपल्याला उपयोग होईल. नेक्टर प्लांट्सच्या बाबतीत मला असं वाटतंय की देर आर नो सच स्पेसिफिक नेक्टर प्लांट्स. आपल्याला फक्त हे बघायला लागेल की वर्षभर काही ना काहीतरी आपल्या बागेत फुलतंय ना, आणि ते प्रॉपर ड्युरेशनसाठी राहतंय ना. म्हणजे सध्या मी बऱ्याचदा बागांमधनं बघितलं की जिकडे इक्झोरा आहेत, पेंटास वगैरे लावलेला आहे, किंवा स्टॅची टर्फाटास, स्नेकवीड ज्याला आपण म्हणतो ते लावलेलं आहे. की ही नेक्टर प्लांट्स ही बाय अँड लार्ज वर्षभर फुलत राहतात. त्याच्या बरोबरीने जर का आपण सीझनल्स जर का कॉम्बिनेशन करू शकलो तर ते जास्ती छान होतं. कारण ॲज आय सेड, एव्हरी बटरफ्लाय अँड एव्हरी प्लांट हॅज अ कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक सिग्नेचर कंपाऊंड विच इज केमिकल, ओके, प्रेझेंट इन द नेक्टर. आणि या बटरफ्लाईजना ही वेगवेगळी केमिकल्स ही आवश्यक आहेत त्यांचं रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह सायकल्स पूर्ण करायला. त्यामुळे काही वर्षभर फुलणारी आणि काही सीझनल असं जर का आपण इंटिग्रेशन करू शकलो तर ते चांगलं ठरेल.
Okay. There's one more question from him itself. Is fogging for mosquitoes done in housing colonies harmful for butterflies, and how does one strike a balance?
As far as I know, it is harmful because it directly affects the larvae. म्हणजे लार्व्हीचं जर का ओव्हरऑल सगळं पॅटर्न बघितला फीडिंगचा म्हणा किंवा याचा, तर जेव्हा आपण मॉस्किटो साठी फॉगिंग करतो याचा अर्थ आपण ते केमिकल इन्सेक्टिसाइड्स वगैरे स्प्रे करतो. सो इट गेट्स अटॅच टू द लिव्ह ऑल्सो अँड इट गेट्स अटॅच टू द बॉडी ऑल्सो. म्हणजे कितीतरी वेळेला आपल्याला सुद्धा त्या डेन्स फॉगिंग मधनं जाताना थोडंसं असं हाताच्या त्वचेला थोडंसं इरिटेट झाल्यासारखं किंवा असं एक स्टिकी काहीतरी हातावरती येऊन बसल्यासारखं फिलिंग येतं. आणि हे बटरफ्लाय लार्वीला पण होतं आणि प्लांट्सला पण होतं. त्यामुळे मॉस्किटोचं फॉगिंग हे बटरफ्लाय लार्वीसाठी सुद्धा घातक असू शकतं आणि ते टाळावं. म्हणजे जर का आपण बटरफ्लाय गार्डन करत असाल तर इमटेरियल की तुम्ही ते कडुनिंबाचं अर्क वापरताय का काय वापरताय. माझ्या मते लार्वीच्या दृष्टिकोनातनं तरी स्प्रेइंग टाळावं, कारण लार्वीज राहिल्या नाही तर अडल्ट कुठनं येणार आहेत. सो तो बॅलन्स ठेवणं खूप महत्वाचं आहे. आणि तसं मी घरी माझ्या बघतोय प्रिडेशन होतं का तर भरपूर होतं लार्वीचं, कारण पक्षी खातात. पण देन यू आर प्रमोटिंग अ फूड चेन. तसंही आपला
Right.
नॅचरल सर्व्हायव्हल रेट जर का 10 to 12% असेल बटरफ्लाईजचा, तर तुमच्या 50 आळ्यांपैकी 20 आळ्या जर पक्ष्यांनी खाल्ल्या तर त्यांना आनंदाने खाऊ देत. कारण त्यांचं सुद्धा फूड सायकल ही चालू राहिली पाहिजे. काही ठराविक स्पीशीजना तुम्ही प्रोटेक्शन देऊ शकता स्पीशीजला किंवा लार्वीला. म्हणजे तुमच्याकडे जर कसं समजा मोठं झाड आहे आणि एक झाडाच्या एका फांदीवरती तुम्हाला जर का 10-15 आळ्या दिसल्या, ती वाटलं तर तुम्ही छोट्याशा नेटनी कव्हर करून ठेवा, बाकीच्या पक्ष्यांसाठी राहू देत. असंही आपल्याला करता येईल, पण स्प्रेइंग शक्यतो अवॉइड करावं.
All right, all right. Someone is asking, can we get a list of host plants for various butterflies? So कुठे ही लिस्ट मिळू शकते if they have to refer to?
रेडीमेड अशी नाहीये. तुम्ही कुठल्या रिजनमध्ये राहता त्याच्यावरनं ते कदाचित बदलू शकेल. म्हणजे जर का हा प्रश्न पुणे सोडून बाहेरचा कुठला तरी आला असेल, वेस्टर्न घाट्स मधला कुठला तरी आला असेल, तर तिथे वाढणाऱ्या होस्ट प्लांट्स ही कदाचित वेगळी त्या क्लायमेटला सुटेबल असतील. पुण्यातल्या टेकड्यांवरती वाढणारी ही वेगळी असू शकतील. आणि बेसिकली द प्रॉब्लेम इज नॉट विथ द लिस्ट, द प्रॉब्लेम इज हाऊ टू गेट दोज प्लांट्स, अँड मेजॉरिटी ऑफ देम दे आर वाईल्ड. बेसिकली आता मी जे काय सांगितलं, रुई किंवा हळद कुंकू किंवा कोरांटी किंवा कडीपत्ता, लिंबू वगैरे हे तुम्हाला नर्सरीवाल्याकडे मिळतील. बाकीचे तुम्हाला नर्सरीवाल्याकडे मिळणार नाही. ते तुम्हाला एफर्ट्स घेऊन त्याचं मुद्दामून त्याची रोपं तयार करायला लागतील आणि मग वाढवायला लागेल. माझ्या टेरेस गार्डन मध्ये मी तेच केलंय. बिया गोळा केल्यात किंवा कटिंग आणून लावलेत, मग त्यांचं ते वाढलं ना, कंड्युसिव्ह हॅबिटॅट दिलं की बटरफ्लाईज आपोआप येतात. म्हणजे माझ्याकडे मला आठवतं मी फ्लॅकोर्शिया म्हणजे तांबट लावलं होतं 2019 साली. म्हणजे डिसेंबर 2019ला मी गच्चीवरती काम करायला सुरुवात केली. तोपर्यंत माझी गच्ची रिकामी होती. 2023 मध्ये मला कॉमन लेपर्ड नावाच्या फुलपाखरांनी त्याच्यावरती अंडी घातलेली दिसली. 3 वर्ष घेतली, पण दॅट्स फाईन. इट्स अ नॅचरल प्रोसेस. They learn and then they select.
Okay. Ashish asks us, which are the specific species in your butterfly garden? तुमच्या butterfly garden मध्ये कुठले स्पेसिफिक आहेत स्पीशीज?
स्पेसिफिक आहेत म्हणजे मी काही बार्लेरिया म्हणजे कोरांटीच्या काही वेगवेगळ्या जाती लावलेल्या आहेत, त्या स्पेसिफिक आहेत. नंतर मी पाचुंदा म्हणून आहे ते लावलेलं आहे, ते स्पेसिफिक आहे. आणि मी वेस्टर्न घाट्स मध्ये जे नेक्टर प्लांट जे आहेत, ब्लेफॅरिस म्हणा किंवा कॅलाकॅन्थस म्हणा, असे मी मुद्दामून काही मोनोटिपिक म्हणजे जी दुर्मिळ होणारी आहेत परंतु जी जगवणं गरजेचं आहे असं पण मी मुद्दामून वेगवेगळे कटिंग्स वगैरे करून ते वाढवण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सो आणि माझ्या घराच्या इथे मग मुद्दामून नाही लावलेलं, परंतु मग मी टेरेसवरती हे लावलंय काय आपलं बहावा. ओके, आता एक मोठी बंबलबी येते माझ्या इथे. ठीक आहे, मी ठीक आहे. सो नाही येते म्हणजे मला त्याचा फोटो काढायचा होता, पण ठीक आहे मी काढेन नंतर. That is, I am more excited because I have purposely propagated a species which is monotypic. Monotypic म्हणजे त्या दुसरी नाहीच आहे, म्हणजे त्याला जीनस आणि स्पीशीज तेवढी एकच आहे. आणि आता मला ते एक बंबलबी पॉलिनेट करताना दिसतीये, म्हणून मला आय एम जस्ट बिट एक्साइटेड. इट्स नॉट दॅट आय एम फ्राइटेंड की बंबलबी येते, पण मला आनंद झाला की बंबलबी येते.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ankur, for your answer.
Thank you, Ashish.
Yeah. So I guess we are done with the questions. I would, Sanjay, are you there?
Yes, very much.
If you want to say a few words for this session.
Sure. Ankur sir, thanks will be a very small term. Like beautiful is a very small term to describe butterfly. Same way from our side as a Jungle Bell, to say thank you will be a very small word. You accepting our invite.
It was a pleasure for me also.
Most of the time, most people are used to say, and we very commonly use की फुलपाखरासारखं आयुष्य जगावं वगैरे, ऑल दोज थिंग्स, अँड फुलपाखरासारखं सुंदर आयुष्य व्हावं किंवा फुलपाखरासारखं कलरफुल असावं वगैरे समथिंग. But actually, unfortunately, very few are caring for them and doing something for them. And you are rather at apex of it. It's really an honor to have you here. And I'm sure with your insights and with your dedication and with your knowledge which you shared over here, at least if we are able to increase 10 more butterfly garden in Pune, I think that will be the greatest stake Jungle Bell and our efforts can set. And I'm sure the figure will be definitely 3 digits, not only 10. I myself have already promised to my team that whatever scheme hereafter we will be doing, we will be having one corner dedicated to butterflies in our projects. So definitely, and on more platforms, we will be happy to get you along on more platform, is all I can say.
Yes.
Because
I was just going to say that, Sanjay, that from Jungle Bells, if you need any kind of help, support, or in any activities in awareness or conservation, you please let us know. We'll be more than happy to come forth willing, basically. And I would just like to conclude that this webinar will be available on YouTube. There are people who've joined on Facebook also. So we'll be circulating it. It is available to watch on YouTube, as well as we'll circulate it to various other groups and all as a part of the awareness of this thing. So I'm sure everyone will take the benefit of it. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.